Hi there, so welcome to part 2 of ranking every single horror film released in 2024. I watched 77 films and I already talked about them over part 1, over like 37 films. The last film in that list was the top 40, so we're gonna do today, I'm gonna go from top 39 to the first place. So let's go. So coming at number 39, that will be Strangers Chapter 1. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this film. I gave it a review. I also talked about the original film, the sequel, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this movie deserves better. It's still a 3 stars film, and I don't know, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, but I do understand why people are not liking this film. Let's see how Chapter 2 is gonna go. Coming at number 38, and I'm a bit disappointed because this film was actually my most anticipated film of the year, and that will be Trap. So coming at number 38, that will be Trap. M. Night Shyamalan, I love you guys, but this film was very mediocre. This movie was very basic. It was very flat. This movie was just there, So I wish this movie pushed itself more because this movie had an incredible lead and we were following the villain, and that's something you don't see often in horror. But this movie was more of a musical than a horror film, which I'm okay. I liked her music and I have all of her songs over my Spotify, but this should have been more of a horror film, and I think once you leave the concert, everything goes downhill. Now, coming at number 37, and I'm very excited to talk about this film because I feel like nobody has watched this film, and this film was actually disturbing. I included this film in over my disturbing films, and from now on, these movies are 3 stars and a half. So they're almost 4, These films are actually good, they're 7 out of 10. I will rewatch them. I liked most of the technicality, I liked most of the storyline, but they are 3 stars and a half because maybe because of the acting or maybe because the storyline it becomes messy at certain points. But nonetheless, this film will be Gani Mady, or I don't know how to pronounce that, but nonetheless, I really like this film. Disturbing. I like that this movie was a religious horror but without possessions or demons. This was very, very realistic and scary. This movie involves homophobia related to religion and how that is basically a cult, how religion in this film or in real life can be just brainwashing someone out there. And yeah, so the fact that homophobia was involved because these religious people were against homosexuality and all of that was really heavy, and I feel like the movie portrayed it so well, especially with the main teenager. I feel like he was such a good character that I was really, really rooting for. He was going through so much. This movie was scary. This movie has good actors. Some popular actors are here that you might recognize them once you go and check the cast. But I really recommend this film. I really, really enjoy it. Super, super disturbing, at least for me. Coming at number 36, that will be Oddity. Oddity was an okay film. I like the location. I like the main actress, the main lead. But I also liked I don't know, the story overall kept me intrigued. Some of the jump scares were really good, but this movie stays as this position and as a 3 stars film just because I feel like the movie stays in the middle act for way too long, and the movie doesn't really go there. The movie struggles to go to the finale, and once it arrives, once the finale comes, you are okay, so the movie ends, but what else? This movie left me wanting so much more. And the next film will be Mads, coming at number 35. Now, I respect this film, I'm not gonna lie, because this movie did so much with what it had. This is a one-shot kind of film, and obviously everyone is talking about that. However, I do have to say that just because it's one shot, it doesn't mean that it's a masterpiece. Because most of the time, this film felt like a found footage, and I don't think that was intention behind the filmmakers. I don't think they wanted to make this film a found footage, if that makes sense. So that was weird, but I did like the makeup most of the time. I liked the gore. I liked the storyline overall because this movie really portrayed that what could happen if you do drugs. I've never done drugs. I will never do drugs, because obviously I'm always scared what happens in this film is the way you will react to that. So yeah, pros for that. I just wish this movie, honestly, it developed itself more. Coming at number 34, that will be Something in the Water, and this might be an unpopular opinion, But because this movie has like overall of like 1.8 over Letterboxd, and I don't really know why, but I like this film, and it's a very independent kind of film. I like the use of the ocean, I like the characters, I like the synopsis, like the opening scene of this film is very disturbing, and so it makes sense why these characters are like in the beach and why these characters go there. And I was rooting for all of them. Once the shark comes, like you're rooting for everyone. This movie really portrayed it like suffocation in such a good way. This movie also portrayed it like being anxious, like in the ocean, so well, because the ocean is a scary place, it's a scary landscape, and I feel like this movie portrayed that so well, and I feel like this movie deserves better. I don't think it deserves that much of a hate, like this movie is in my top 30 of the year. That might be unpopular, but I don't know. I really liked it. Coming at number 33, that will be Milk and Cereal. Now, this movie is really popular. I don't need to talk much about it. I just really like that this movie did so much in just like 50 minutes. Pros for that. Obviously, this is a very indie film. This is over on YouTube. Like, it's a YouTube original, let's say. I really liked it. This movie is kind of inspirational for me as a filmmaker, so I really applaud the filmmakers for doing this film. This movie honestly was very solid, and that's why it's coming at this place. It's better than so many Hollywood films, so props for that. Coming at number 32, that will be Cold Meat, and I don't think anyone has watched this film because I don't see anyone talking about it. This is a winter horror, so I'm surprised not many people watched this over winter last year. This movie was really, really good. I love the location, the snow, how cold the characters were, the synopsis, the reveals. I did not expect any of them as they were coming. I love the cat and mouse kind of storyline between the two characters, and how slightly disturbing it was the way the movie was portraying its storyline. I would really recommend it. I personally didn't like the subplot in the film because that didn't really belong, and that's why this movie is coming at number 32. But it's a 3 stars and a half, mostly because of the location, the characters, the storyline, and how entertained I was. And at number 31, that will be Daddy's Hate. Now, this film honestly is like the Babadook of 2024, and the Babadook came out 10 years ago, so coincidence much. I really liked Daddy's Hate. I feel like the grief and depression they were really well explored and portrayed. But I do understand why this film is not that loved in the community, because it's a very, very slow burn, and that might not be for everyone, but it was for me. I really liked it. I was rooting for the characters, and I was intrigued by the storyline. Now, are you ready? This is the top 30. We're almost there, guys, so thank you for bearing with me. But coming at number 30, that will be Strange Darling, 3 stars and a half. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this film. I like the synopsis. I liked how unique it was, how different it was. I did not expect the plot twist, and if you have seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But this movie is 3 stars and a half, and this movie is at the top 30 just because I feel like we didn't spend enough time with the villain, and I wish this movie was darker, was more disturbing. I feel like we spent so much time in unnecessary scenes, and yeah, I just didn't understand why that happened. But it's a 3 stars and a half, that's not too bad. Top 30 of the year, that's actually pretty good. Coming at number 29, that will be Beetlejuice. Now, I was not sure if I should include this as a horror, but it's actually labeled as a horror in IMDb. And honestly, I will say so because this is a dark comedy horror, there is gore involved, there is kills involved, it's spooky, it's Halloween, and so yeah, I like this film. It was good. This movie is obviously one of the most popular of the year. I enjoy it. I don't know what to say. I really liked it. I would rewatch it, and this might be unpopular, but I do prefer this than the original. Coming at number 28, that will be Maxine. Now, I'm a huge fan of Pearl and X. So obviously when Maxine was coming, I was really, really excited. Obviously, I ended up being slightly disappointed because this movie out of nowhere became a religious horror, and I don't really understand why. The climax and the finale of this film was very cheesy, was very cringy. The third act of this film, it didn't belong to the Maxine character, to X and Maxine. I feel like Maxine is a very detached kind of film when it comes to the 3 films, the trilogy. And I wish it wasn't. I wish this movie was very attached to X. but obviously it's not. But I did like Maxine as a character. I did like her character arc. I love like the location. I like the storyline. I just wished it was gorier, and I wish that finale was different. Coming at number 27, and it actually hurts me to include this movie here, but that will be Nosferatu. It's a 3 stars and a half. Just because of the storyline. I was not interested in the storyline. I was pretty much bored. I was not rooting for the characters. But this is coming at number 27. And just because I love the costumes, the wardrobes, the cinematography, the location, the set design, the lighting, the color grading, everything that when it comes to like the filmmaking of this film, absolutely perfect. But the storyline, the script, and the characters, not so much. That's why it's coming at this position. Coming at number 26, that will be Infested, still 3 stars and a half. I love the location, I love the practical effects. I just wish the characters were more likable, even though they felt very, very human, very, very realistic. I struggled to root for them, but I did like some of the scenes in this film. For example, like the shower, the bath scene, that was really good. And overall, the building, I'm glad that this movie took place in a ordinary kind of like location. That I'm glad it didn't take place in a huge mansion with rich people. Like this was realistic, let's say, and obviously admirable because of how practical it was. Coming at number 25, and this might be a huge unpopular opinion. I don't know if I should say this, but that will be The Crow. You guys, I like The Crow. I like The Crow remake. I think this movie deserves so much better. Like, I do understand that the original is there, but the original is there, like, it's fine. Like, that movie will always exist. I did like the remake. I feel like this remake did so many good things, I like the main character. I like also the relationship with him and the other girl. I love the revenge aspect. I love the gore. I love the kills. That theater sequence at the end was perfection. Bill Skarsgård, he did an amazing job in this film, and I don't know, I feel like this movie deserves better. I do understand why this movie is not that well loved, but if you take the fanatism from the first film, from the original, out of the equation, I feel like this movie deserved much better. Coming at number 24, that will be Don't Move, a Netflix film that I really, really enjoy because I felt anxious and tense the whole time. And I love that. I love the way this movie worked with its character, its location, and its storyline. This movie has so many good things. I didn't feel bored. I was very tense. I was rooting for this character so much. Like, this woman goes through hell. And her performance was incredible. I feel like she deserves so much more recognition as an actress in 2024. Number 23 will be In a Violent Nature. Again, I really like this film, and that might be an unpopular opinion, but I really liked it. I loved the fact that we were following with like the killer, and I didn't mind that he was walking most of the time because it made sense. It's like if a Friday the 13th film had the synopsis, obviously you will do that. I love the kills. I don't care if they were over the top. That's the point of this kind of slashers. I love the location. I loved how old it felt despite taking place in the 2020s. I liked the main villain. The characters were fine. I don't know. I liked the movie, the way this movie was shot. That was generally very, very entertaining and admirable for me as a filmmaker. Number 2022. This is the last film that is 3 stars and a half. So that will be Smile 2. I really liked this film. I liked the overall storyline with the singer, Naomi. She did an amazing job. I just wish this movie was gorier, or I wish this movie didn't feel like a dream sequence most of the time, because that was confusing. And obviously I just wish this movie did more stuff with its main character apart from her going crazy, let's say, I wish this movie was stronger when it comes to the villain going after her, if that makes sense. I wish, I don't want to spoil it because this movie is brand new, but I wish that climax and that finale was different. Now from now on, all of these films are 4 stars before we get to the 4.5 and the 5 stars. So coming at number 21, that will be #Missing Couple, a fan footage that I don't think anyone is talking about. I absolutely love this film. I feel like this movie was scary. This movie was slightly disturbing. I dare you to watch this movie alone late at night with loud headphones on like maybe a small screen on your phone, on your iPad. Just you, by yourself, with your headphones, with a loud volume, and let me know how you feel. This movie genuinely scared me. Coming at number 20, that will be Trunk Locked In. I believe this is a German film. Nobody's talking about this film. I give it 4 stars. I don't care. This movie was incredible. The use of location was insane. The lighting, the gore, the blood, the character, the fact that this is a very independent kind of film and it did so much. This is a very good cat and mouse kind of film. I love the location. Like, this movie takes most of the time inside the truck. Wow, that was impressive. I loved it and I gave it 4 stars. It's one of my favorites. Like, it's coming at like it's the top 20, you know. I really enjoy it and I wish more people would know about this film. Coming at number 19, that will be Amber Alert. Again, I like this film. Another good cat and mouse kind of film. I love the whole synopsis. I was entertained. I was intrigued. I was really curious to see what was gonna happen to the characters. Like, the performances were great. I loved it. Like, it's a 4 stars. Yeah, I was just intrigued the whole time. Coming at number 18, that will be Stream, which is a slasher that I don't think many people are talking about, despite having that huge cast. You know, like, this film is really good, to be honest. This movie is 2 hours, so that's why it's like at the bottom of the 4 stars, but still, like, 4 stars is basically a perfect film, but you know what I mean. I just liked that this movie was like a home invasion with found footage. Like, it was kind of like mixed, and I did like the kills, the characters. Like, I was entertained, and I would really recommend for you to give this movie a go. Coming at number 17, that will be Terrifier 3. I'm not gonna talk too much about this because I gave a full review over my channel if you wanna check that video out. But again, Terrifier, Art the Clown, icon, icon, icon. Coming at number 16, that will be Stink, and this might be one of the most overlooked films of the year because everyone is disliking this film so much, and I don't really understand why, because this movie was generally good. Like, I was entertained. This movie had so much fun with its storyline, with its location. The location in this film was amazing. The characters were really likable. I liked that they were so human, they were so real, that we were following like a normal family. I liked that I was rooting for most of the characters, like they were likable. I liked the creature designs. I liked the use of location, like in this building. Some of the kills that were really, really impressive. The lighting, the sound design. I like this film. 4 stars. There we go. Alright, top 15. So coming at number 15, that will be Speak No Evil, the remake. Now, I like this remake. Is it better than the original? Absolutely not. I did like this film a lot. Like, I gave it 4 stars, coming at number 15th. And yeah, mostly because of James McAvoy, also because this movie did stuff differently from the original, especially in that climax. And yeah, I liked that this movie became like a cat and mouse kind of thing, and I didn't mind it. I will rewatch this. I will rewatch the original. I do prefer the original. That film is a 5 stars. It's a masterpiece. But I was okay with this remake. I think like this is the best Blumhouse film of the year. At number 14, that will be Red Rooms. Like, this movie was very, very disturbing. I like that this movie portrayed it like being a crime fanatic so well. This movie was realistic. This movie was generally like creepy. It was disturbing. It felt real. Like, I was not sure if was this based on true events. Absolutely amazing. I feel like the main actress, she did a fantastic job, and I think she deserves more. I like Red Rooms, 4 star, nothing much to say. Coming at number 13, that will be Heretic. I gave this movie a full review, so if you want to check that video out, I would really recommend it. Like this film. Coming at number 13, 4 stars, great. Coming at number 12, that will be Apartment 7A, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I liked Apartment 7A. I don't know what to say to you guys. I like this film. I know many people are not liking this film, and I kind of can understand why. But I wish people gave this movie like a bigger chance, because I feel like this movie has so much to offer. It's coming at number 12 in my list, which is like huge. It's very, very high. But yeah, I like this film. I like the characters, the location, the wardrobes. I was entertained. I was intrigued. I like that the main actress, like the main character, she felt real. She was very likable. And I like the way things were like devolving, let's say. Coming at number 11, so almost top 10. Coming at number 11 will be Lisa Frankenstein. I really like this film. Like, it's almost top 10. I had so much fun. It was a great dark comedy. I like the characters, I like the gore, I like the location, like the wardrobe, the cinematography. I believe that this movie took place in the 80s. The main act, like the main character, she was very likable. Her relationship with like the zombie, let's say, was like, it was very cute. I had fun. I just wish this movie was gorier because there is kills involved, but they're not gory enough, which it kind of makes sense. But I feel like the movie could have used more blood and more gore. Alright, you guys, are you ready? Thank you so much for being with me on these long videos. But if I'm gonna talk about all of my movies that I watched, I have to talk about them. But now we're coming to the top 10. And coming at the 10th place will be The First Omen. I love The First Omen. I feel like this was an incredible prequel. I feel like this movie works as a standalone. Like, this movie is one of the most popular horror of the year, and that's for a reason. Love this film. Love the way it looked, the way it sounded. Like, I barely have any critiques from this film. I just need to rewatch it more often. But love The First Omen. Coming at number 9, and now I feel like this is the most underrated film of 2024, and that will be The Watchers. I feel like this movie doesn't deserve the hate that it's getting. It keeps getting hate, and I don't know why. This movie is gorgeous. Like, this folk horror is gorgeous. The location is amazing. The lighting is perfect. The creatures are insane. The characters are so likable. I felt so curious about all of them, about the storyline. I was intrigued. I was tense. Like, the sound design is perfect. This movie is like, it's very underrated. It's the most underrated film of the year for me because it didn't deserve like the amount of hate that it got. And for being a directorial debut, that's insane. And the main reason why this movie is coming at number 9 and not higher, but still like number 9 is amazing, is because I feel like the climax felt a bit too much of a fantasy, less of a horror, and maybe that's why. But still, 4 stars, coming at like my 9th favorite film of the year, horror-wise. And at number 8, that will be Long Legs. I really like, obviously, like Long Legs. Who didn't like Long Legs? Come on, like, who is putting Long Legs at the last place? I'm joking, like, obviously you can do that, but I loved Long Legs. Obviously, I gave it a review, actually. I just remember, I gave this movie a review over my channel, so if you wanna give it a go, it's on my channel. But iconic, loved it. I own it on a Steelbook 4K. I will always rewatch it. Coming at my number 8. Coming at number 7, and this might be an unpopular opinion, and from now on, the next, I believe, 3 films are 4 stars and a half. So they're almost masterpieces. They're almost 5 stars. So coming at number 7, that will be VHS Beyond. I love these installments in the VHS franchise, and I was not expecting to love this film at all, but I ended up giving it 4 stars and a half. I loved all of like the short films in this installment. They were really good. One of them was like they were disturbing for me. I was amazed by the way this movie was made, the way the short films were made. I loved them. I loved them so much. I really like this film. I can't wait to own it. I can't wait to rewatch. I barely have critiques, you know, because it's a 4 stars and a half. Maybe the only reason why I gave 4 stars and a half is because one of the short films, it didn't really belong to this installment, which is like the one related to dogs. But apart from that, barely any critiques, you know. Coming at number 7, 4 stars and a half. Coming at number 6, that will be Alien Romulus, another 4 stars and a half. Absolutely stunning. This movie, I mean, what can I say? You know, like, I've watched this movie, I believe, 3 times already, and incredible. Like, I don't know what else to say. I did my ranking of the Alien franchise, so I talked more about this film in that ranking. But stunning, loved it, almost a perfect film. Maybe the only reason why I didn't give a perfect rating is because a few scenes in the middle act were dragging, but apart from that, it's almost a perfect film. You know, like, this is coming at number 6 out of 77 films. Coming at number 5, so this is my top 5, top 5, and that will be Azrael. Azrael was insane. I loved Azrael, and let me tell you, actually, my top 5, all of these films are 5 stars film. So I really hope that more or less you get to know, like, I'm really curious if you already know my top 5, but let's see. But Azrael was amazing. I love this film. I love that this movie was a non-dialogue, and it made sense why this movie was a non-dialogue kind of film. Loved it. I think Samara, she was amazing. This movie was disturbing for me. I included this as a disturbing kind of film. Obviously, the gore, the location, stunning. I don't have any critiques. I don't have critiques for any of the films in this list, and that might be unpopular, but that's fine. Loved it. Coming at number 4, and I feel like this movie, not many people are talking about it, and it's such a shame because this movie is a perfect film. It's an absolute masterpiece, and that will be The Devil's Bath. Now, this is a Shudder original that is taking place in the 1700s. So it's a very it's a film that's taken in a very old time period, but I was absolutely stunning. Again, no critiques because these films are 5 stars. I literally have nothing to say negative wise. Everything is positive about this film. Absolutely gorgeous. Loved it. The synopsis, the metaphors, the portrayals, the characters. This movie was disturbing. Loved it. I can't wait for more people to check this film out because it was incredible. Coming at number 3, that will be The Coffee Table. The Coffee Table, incredible. This movie actually came out in 2022, but because of time issues or whatever, this movie ended up being released in 2024. But I love The Coffee Table. Again, disturbing. Most of these films, my top 5, most of them are disturbing, if not all of them. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. This movie was really, really intense. My heart was on the floor most of the time. This is my number 3 film of the year. One of my favorites. Loved it. Absolutely. The acting was incredible. I think it deserves better. When it comes to recognition. Love The Coffee Table. Now, the last 2 films over my list, and these 2 films, they can jump between 1 and 2, 2 and 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 1. But coming at number 2, that will be, it's a very unpopular opinion, very, very, very unpopular, but that will be Immaculate. You heard me right, Immaculate, perfect film, 5 stars, no complaints. My second favorite of the year. You know what I mean? Yes, I might be the only one that is doing this to Immaculate, but I love this film. I love the character. I love the storyline. I love how disturbing it became. I love that it was short. It was concise. Sometimes we need those films, Sometimes perfect films can look like Immaculate. Sometimes perfect films can look like they are just 1 hour and 20. They go from A to B in an hour 20. It was really entertaining, disturbing, great acting, vibes are there, perfect. My number 2, my second favorite of the year. And without further ado, which is the film that I haven't talked about? The Substance. The Substance is the best film of 2024. What can I say about The Substance that I haven't said before? I gave this movie a full review. Love this film. I've rewatched it already. I can't wait to own this. Perfect film. It's a perfect film. What can I say? It's a perfect film. I was not sure if including Immaculate as my number 1, but the more that I thought about it, the more it made sense to include The Substance, because this movie is shaking the world. This movie is shaking the horror genre. So yeah, super happy with The Substance. Love it. Alright you guys, so thank you so much for checking this video. If a film that you think that I missed is not on this list, it's either because I didn't watch it or because it's a non-horror and it's most a thriller, For example, Love Like Bleeding is in my non-horror favorite films of the year, So some films that you might think were supposed to be here, they're not horror films because they were not labeled as horror in any of the websites. Although they might look but they were more of a thriller, Love Like Bleeding, if that makes sense. But for now, this was me. You can follow me over my letterboxd, and we will talk in the next video. Let me know your favorites of the year, your least favorites. If you agree, disagree with me, we will talk soon. Please take care of yourself, and we will talk so soon. I'm gonna take a break after this video. Take care.